Good evening, Razorback fans. Welcome to the one, the only Hog Talk podcast, live from the Sterling Soap and Roastery Studios, and we're part of the Believe and Buzz Radio Network, where you can hear us on all podcast platforms, as well as Buzz2 106.7 in Central Arkansas. So please like, rate, and review our podcast. All live shows are presented to you by Arkansas Brewing Company in downtown Ozark. I'm Porter Hayes. Alongside me, as always, is Adam Hall, and we're also brought to you by Bet Online, your number one source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way for place your wagers, including live betting, your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head on over to the website and use your mobile device to sign up today and get it in on the action. Remember to use the promo code BLEAV for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, where the game starts. And we are going to be joined here shortly by Blake Ruffino of AYS Sports. But, Adam, we kind of had some, I don't know if you would call it breaking news or big news, but news anyway that we kind of got to touch on before Blake comes on. And it's crazy that we're bringing this up as a coach suspending or deleting his Twitter. But, man, I don't understand the timing. And no matter what the intentions, dude, how is this look right now at this moment at the most important time of your tenure, where this place can either go up or down, and then all of a sudden you're deleting your social media?
Yeah, it's kind of baffling to a sense. I pulled up Twitter and started scrolling through, and I just start seeing that a couple of reposts and whatever that Sam Pittman had deactivated or deleted his account, and I was kind of like, wait, what? So I tried to search it myself, and sure enough, this is a tough time because, just from like the recruiting aspect and everything, I mean, this is what a lot of players look to see what, he's posting, sharing this, that, and the other. So, I know fans can be ruthless, especially during tough times, but the timing of it is just kind of crazy to me.
Yeah, it is, because here's the thing. You lead by example, and you're trying to, and I want to bring up, what Nick Saban said about the rat poison. So, that infamous speech about the rat poison. Don't let it get to you. Be above it. And you know what? If you're trying, your main focus is on your team, and your main focus is then you shouldn't even be letting that even get in the way of things. Because here, the end of the day is, what you're getting yourself into. And what we just touched on Sunday, you want to celebrate it. You want to go on social media. Look at Eric Musselman all over the place on social media. Mm-hmm. You want to be on social media. You want to be on Feinbaum. You want to be on with Marty and McGee. Yes, sir. And drinking the cold beer and the Popeyes and all that stuff. But when things kind of go south and not the way, this is almost like a retreat. And it's like, you are the highest paid employee in the state of Arkansas. You are up there when it comes to getting that money. And it was funny. Somebody put out an article about, he was making, TV talk show type money when it comes to the percentages and taxes and stuff. You're making a lot of money to be the head of a football program. And if you're letting trolls and Twitter and social media get to you, that's not a good look when it comes to controlling a football program. It's just the optics. It's the way it is, the way I see it. And it's one of the things that you have somebody else run it. Give it to one of your GAs. Give it to your SID or one of the SID's assistants or something, because this could have been the worst time that you could have done this. And I just don't see a point to where I can see where it's none of our business, but still yet it's like, look, you signed up for this. I mean, that's the way I see it.
Yeah, no, you're right. You signed up for this. It comes with the territory, the good and the bad. It's if he didn't want to get on it, not posting for several days is a better look than deactivating it, because nobody would know if something's going on. Now everybody knows that something's going on. And so it's going to raise speculations, questions. You know that at some point when he speaks to the media, it's going to be it's asked by somebody, an oppressor. So, how's his response going to be? But, turn your notifications off. Don't open up the app, whatever the case may be. But deactivating it, I don't think was in the best interest.
Yeah, and we'll quickly go to the Betters Lumber Hotline and bring in Blake Ruffino of AYS Sports. Blake, let me ask you a question, just a hypothetical question.
The answer is no. I will not do what you're going to ask me. No.
Okay. All right. Brian Kelly loses to Tulane and starts getting a little criticism. He starts getting a little fire, and a lot of people start coming at him, and he deletes or deactivates his social media. What would you or other people in the LSU fan base / media take that as if he just retreats? I mean, how do you look at that?
You mean like some things like what Ed Orgeron did?
No, I'm looking at what Sam Pittman did.
No, I'm talking about you mean the react. You're asking about the reaction of what LSU people would do. You mean like how they did with Orgeron?
Yeah,
because that's exactly how it'd play out. Look, I saw that today, and I saw some Arkansas people doing that. Do we know that he wasn't hacked or something? Like, has anybody reported? Because you saw, I'm not getting political. Yeah. You saw the former president's son's account got hacked last night and was saying some really vile things. So I would just want an explanation before, jumping to a conclusion, unless I'm wrong there.
Yeah, it's just, touching on it because, like I said, at this point in his tenure, and we'll get into the game and all that stuff very quickly, it's just the look of it, the timing. It's like this could be the worst possible timing if, in fact, that is true, that is what has happened. And if it comes out that he did get hacked and this is a misunderstanding, it's jokes on us, and it's one of them things. Like, again, it's the timing of this that really makes this heighten on our senses.
Well, this is what makes media, especially social media people inside that building. This is not just an Arkansas thing. If he got hacked, make a statement and publicize it on Arkansas football on Twitter.
Yeah. Right.
Like if he didn't deactivate his account, why don't you just, like, if he got hacked and had to deactivate and do whatever, announce that.
Yeah.
So like today on Greg Brooks, the family put out a statement. What did LSU do literally 5 minutes after that? They confirmed the news. Brian Kelly confirms the news, right? And I just think that, it does look bad on Sam's part. Now, Porter, I tweeted this. Adam, I tweeted this. We were on the call with him today, okay, the SEC teleconference. Mm-hmm. That man does not sound like energized at all, right? Like, he seems really deflated. And I don't ever remember Sam Pittman being that deflated. I've been on every one of these calls last, 4 years, okay? I've never heard Sam Pittman ever sound like that. He would get his teeth kicked in by Rudy Putek in his first year, and it didn't matter, right? Like, he's wanting to get back out there and punch somebody in the mouth. I don't know, man. It did not feel right. He did not help his cause, in my opinion.
Yeah, and going into this game, it comes out that – KJ might be a little bit banged up. You already have Rock. I mean, there was so much promise to this year. And I told Adam, I told everybody before, I had this as an 8 to 9 win team based on what I thought they could do in the schedule and how everything could play out. And I judge every game. No, man, I never changed my prediction, but I still judge this team as a 9-win team. And that performance against BYU and blowing those 2 leads right before the LSU game, I mean, it makes it very tough on top of already as tough as it is to go into Baton Rouge at night and win. All this stuff that's unfolding is making it way more difficult to go in there Saturday night and pull off an upset.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't, this game is historically close, and I will tell you, I do not like – from an LSU fans should have probably this week felt really good about their team, right? You went out there, you went full John Jones on Mississippi State this week. You got tiny legs, but you were, leg checking him and, Daniel Cormier high kicking him. Bottom line is LSU fans don't feel good about it. I mean, because you got to see the consistency. That was the best game for LSU under Brian Kelly's tenure. Whether it be, even though they scored 70 against Grambling the week before, overall, that is the best 4 quarters that LSU has ever played. And they want to see the consistency. But, Porter, I talked to our good buddy Ty about this on their show this morning. There was a run in the game against BYU that KJ broke outside the pocket. It's him one-on-one with the safety. It's just him and the safety, or the safety's literally the only dude that can stop him to getting into the end zone. And he runs out of bounds. And I'm like, okay, red flag. The KJ I know would go up there, put his shoulder down and say, how you get, like it's Street Fighter as you used to play as kids, and run him over. You're down 7. You're down 7, right? Like, I know that he threw for a touchdown, but the 2 plays after that. But bottom line for me is like, what's up with that?
I think it was Kent State. Because listen, when they played Western Carolina, there was a guy that come up and and it made all the highlights. Dude just bounced off of him. Well, Kent State come in with the chip on their shoulder or something, and they had some guys that was putting him on his back. I think he's like, I can't run everybody over, and he shouldn't. And I think it kind of, if you get hit, you know how it is. If you get hit hard enough, and you have this mentality. Look, Mike Tyson ran through everybody, and then he faced Buster Douglas. And then after that, he wasn't the same. You take a hit, and you get played like Kent State. You look at him as this inferior opponent, and that dude wasn't scared of him and had him wrapped up. And if he was banged up, and then you're coming up and you run out of bounds. But the biggest thing, everybody's making a big deal about this 4th and 1 not being under center, which he shouldn't have. And I made the point to Adam. There was a play where he was under center and then threw an out pass. It wasn't like they didn't line up in this formation and then run it. That was the frustration to me, was they lined up in that formation, threw an out pass. Why not do that and run it up the middle? It goes to the same thing. If you're going to run out of bounds when you're one-on-one, when you can run a guy over, how do you not trust him to get 6 inches if you're under center?
Well, I think some of that comes to if he maybe is hurting in the leg department. Maybe he's not getting that push. I mean, we saw early on in that BYU game, he got thrown to the ground, and afterwards he was just a bit more timid whenever he was running, whether it's for the sideline, up the middle, whatever, scrambling, whatever it may be. So there's something either mentally or in his body that's just not right, in my opinion.
Well, in a play like that, too, if you run 99% of everything you do out of gun, as a head coach, the last thing you want is a turnover. If you're not historically under center, you got a banged-up offensive line, like LSU's 2-point play against Alabama from the 2-yard line last year, out of gun. We've seen teams in the NFL, like there's a metric on it now, I think 98% of 2-point plays or fourth down plays are now run from the gun. The only teams that do it, Jalen Hurts. And I know, you can make the comparison with KJ and Jalen Hurts. It's the same kind of way that they do things. But that's not what lost you the game. And I don't think a beat up KJ lost you the game. For me, man, like, what do you mean? What do you mean that this defense and this secondary gives up 38 points to BYU?
Yeah.
That's the number one thing to me. Look, they scored 14 points. They won 14-0 versus Sam Houston State. Keaton Slovis couldn't find a receiver if it was just them two in a desert together, buck-ass nude, and on a brisk spring evening. Couldn't do it. They
scored a touchdown. I think that was his first career touchdown or something. I mean, he ended up breaking for a 45.
Never underestimate the power of a Mormon, man. Taste of
yeah. Well, they come and killed us with kindness. I told them, you kill more flies with honey than vinegar, because they come in here and donate to our food banks and running out with the Razorback flag, and then they come in and just erase 2 14 and a 10-point lead and just leave us with ice cream in our hands. It's just.
Yeah, I mean, one time, speaking of that, we had a Jehovah's Witness come to our door about 6 years ago, and we have a pastor in our family, and I just looked at him and said, yeah, man, that guy does not know Jesus. and pointed at my uncle that's a pastor. Boy, it was the best. I'd had some refreshments, and boy, was that a fun hour.
Yeah.
Anyway, but look, back to the game. I don't like. This is how LSU's. I think Brian Kelly's pretty much given the game plan so far this week. They're going to come after KJ. They're going to blitz him. They're going to try to contain him like they did Hornsby last year. They are going to make him try to throw the football. I know our DBs did not look great against Florida State. Okay, well, you're going to test. They're going to get tested again. I don't think KJ's got 81 yards on the year rushing, right? Like I just think LSU's coming for him. But the problem is that if KJ does get hot through the air, LSU might be in trouble.
Yeah.
Right. And so that DB unit has been suspect. So, and this game is always close. Always close. First time it's ever happened in September, too, which is kind of sad.
Yeah, that's weird. I mean, that's the thing. We're always used to, the after Thanksgiving game. That was so many, memories. And we'll have Coach Houston Nutt on Monday, special episode. And, I think there until the tail end, he won all the games in Little Rock against LSU. He just had that.
I think he lost the last one.
Yeah.
I think he lost the very last one before he got relieved of his duties.
But coming into this game, I know there's a lot of emphasis on Harold Perkins and what he did last year, and knowing how the offensive line struggles. I mean, you mentioned it. I listened to your interview with Ty on the radio this morning, and being able to open him up and move him around. How do you think that's really going to benefit, especially exposing how the offensive line got exposed last week, and now you're going to have to be looking for him no matter where you're at on the field?
Correct me if I'm wrong on this, and the comments can do it if they want to, if I'm not mistaken. Either Sam Pittman made a mistake or he's telling the truth. They're moving a guard to left tackle, the left guard to left tackle this week. Guys, I played the position. I played it in college. If you're moving from the outside in, meaning tackle to guard, okay, I wouldn't worry as much. Moving a guard to tackle is a big problem. And if you think that they're not going to line Harold Perkins up against a guard in space,
yeah.
I mean, Porter and Adam, I just came off my show, and my key to victory, your front four defensively. That's it. I don't worry about LSU's offense. I don't worry about their running game. I don't worry about their secondary. That front four, if they get after KJ, it's going to be a long day. It's going to be that's LSU's bread and butter right there.
Yeah, and the shuffling, I mean, something that I've been worried about is not having that guy that's just going to fill in for whoever he's replacing, but we're shuffling potentially the whole offensive line around.
Right.
And I think that's going to cause issues for Arkansas, running the ball, protecting KJ, whatever it may be, because you're not just moving one guy. Now you're moving 3 or 4 guys.
Yeah, and look, that hurts continuity. LSU likes to run a lot of twists on third and longs. We've seen it with Harold Perkins. He'll look like he's blitzing, but he's really a spy. I mean, Arkansas fans remember a year ago. I mean, oh, look, here he comes on the blitz. Oh, wait, no, he's a spy. And then Hornsby, being inexperienced, let's call it what it is, sees a dude that's 225 pounds who runs a 4.4 just as fast as him coming at him. He's like, I better get on my horse. Oh, wait, he didn't blitz. Okay? So I just, LSU's bread and butter is, can they get home at 4? If they get home at 4, I think I know that Arkansas fans are going to rip me alive on this one. I think LSU does have the potential to open it wide open if they can get after KJ, right? Like,
that's
any quarterback.
Yeah.
If the Jeff Coat kid, Chris Paul Jr., he's gotten, I think, the second most pressures in the SEC. Landon Jackson. It's the same for LSU now. Like, don't get me twisted, because that D-line has played really good. But I just think the LSU's front four just about to tee off, man. I really do.
And without looking at, I haven't looked at LSU's schedule, what they got moving forward. But
Ole Miss next week
is, we know what Arkansas has our next 4 at LSU, at Arlington, at Ole Miss, at Bama. I mean, That's a pretty brutal stretch, and that's where we were talking about emphasizing that BYU.
You better get this win if you're Sam.
Yeah. I mean, you could be coming in. We talked about it, me and Adam. You could be 2-5 coming out of this stretch.
Look, and I got to tell you, A&M, I know they got beat by Miami. That offense didn't.
Yeah, well, and you got Bobby Petrino, and he knows your team, and that's how important this season is. And I said with Texas and OU coming into the league with no more divisions, this is a very important year for a team like Arkansas to get out of the pack, or you could be in the bottom of the pack in 2 years. Because and going back to this social media thing, if you're getting into it and that seat starts getting hot, and just say it might not happen next year, but if the writing's on the wall, we know how long it takes to rebuild a program.
Well, my question is, and look, Arkansas fans can get mad at this too. Is he not when is he going to get that significant win?
I mean, that's what we were hoping for. I was hoping. I mean, I'd pegged this game.
I mean, Texas was a big win. That's a big win, but Texas was not Texas.
No, that was just like beating
6 and 7 that year.
I'd pegged, and I think me and you have talked about it. With always Texas A&M being that first game for Arkansas and that doom and gloom game, and how Arkansas has played LSU. It's been a tough game. This being their first SEC game, I had hopes of it kind of springboarding. Not necessarily saying Arkansas had to win the game, but I'm saying you beat BYU, you play LSU tough, and it helped. You don't have a loss like A&M last year in the doink field goal. It helps you springboard into the rest of this season. But if you happen to turn around, beat BYU, and then upset LSU, that is the significant win that can really pave the way to a new trajectory of this program.
Well, here's the thing too. And you lost to Liberty last year too, down that stretch, right? I know Hugh Freeze is in the league now, but man, I don't know. Yeah. I feel bad for Sam. I like Sam a lot. I like Sam a lot. I really do. But I just don't. I still think y'all can beat Bama. I think anybody can beat Bama if they're going to do what they're doing offensively. Yeah. I don't know, Porter. I really don't.
Yeah, I mean, my whole, the aspect of I really thought it was going to be a close game, and I don't see this being – I'm not saying it's going to be a blowout, but I see this 14, 17-point game. I mean, I see LSU winning by 14 to 17 points.
Well, you lose to Liberty, you lose to LSU, you do beat Ole Miss last year, but you lose to Missouri, and then you go into wasn't it 4 overtimes against Kansas?
Yeah, something like
that. Yeah, 3 or 4 overtimes.
Well, and you lose to Missouri every year too.
Right. I mean, at some point, you look at the ranked games and you're not winning them at a place like Arkansas. You gotta go 500. You can't go 0-4, right? You gotta be 500. When I remember growing up, Arkansas would come into a Baton Rouge and LSU would win a natty.
Yep.
And they'd be 8, 9-3, 10-2, and you're like, God dog it. Stupid Darren McFadden and his perfect teeth, and his perfect hair. This freaking bastard, he's running all over us. Oh, here comes a white dude named Peyton Hillis. Yeah. He was born with a 401k plan, okay? And then Felix Jones, my Jesus.
Yeah.
You don't have that. And is Rocket playing? Is Rocket Sanders playing?
I don't think he's going.
I don't think he will. He was back at practice this week.
They got him out there, but nothing's leaning toward him playing.
Yeah. He looked very light on ginger with his movements in the last couple of days of practice.
And also, like I said, they're saying, KJ might be a little banged up. So, I mean, we could very well at some point in this game see a similar situation as last year. Instead, it's Jacoby Criswell from North Carolina, but he's an Arkansas kid, backup coming in and taking some snaps. I don't know, but I mean, that's a possibility. Because
I watched that Missouri game from last year, today, and the thing was, remember when Brady Cook had like 150 rushing yards in that game.
Mm-hmm.
If Brady Cook can go off, a flueless Jaden Daniels can. You know, like, I mean, Barry Odom got an SEC win before Sam Pittman this year.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, that's crazy.
Gary Odom.
Yeah.
God, I sprinkled money on Vandy too. I swear to God, I hope their whole program goes up in flames. Barry Odom.
Man.
Barry
But
Odom.
we'll get you out on this. If
Okay.
you know what do you see? All right, outcome prediction and the biggest key to the game for LSU winning. I mean, of course, where we're going to say you're going to predict an LSU win. What's the biggest key for them? And what do you see this outcome being?
Yeah, I'm still going to stay with my projection that I had in the beginning of the year. I still think LSU is a potential playoff team, right? I had LSU, Florida State, Georgia, and Michigan in my 4. Okay. As of right now, I'm going to stay with it. I think LSU offensively, if they can just show that they are the team that they were a week ago, I think it wouldn't matter if it was Arkansas or Rudy Poo Tech. It wouldn't have mattered. Like, I do think that there's something changing in this Brian Kelly team and buy-in. Can they be consistent and play 4 quarters? I said 38-28. I felt like I was being generous with the offensive scoring with Arkansas. I want to see that secondary give me some more faith. But if we're on our post game on Saturday night and LSU wins, it's going to be for one reason and one reason only, not just the offense. Did that front 4 go off? Because Brian Kelly has made it very clear that our goal is we're going to contain KJ and we're going to get after him. Even if he throws a bomb and it's completed, we're going to hit him. We're going to be there to hit him at least. But I got to tell you, if I'm Arkansas, the Satanga kid sounds like an Italian dish, right? Like, I mean, I say he's the most Italian football player in the SEC. He sounds like an Italian dish. I feel like I could go to Olive Garden and order the Satanga.
Yeah.
First play from scrimmage, Porter. Line him up at X. Let KJ on a crow hop. Throw it to Satanga down the field and see if LSU in that DB room can stop him. Because I promise you there's nobody faster on that field than that kid. Okay? Nobody. If they can do some things like that, they can keep this close. But I just think over time that LSU offense continues to roll. I'm going to stay with my preseason predictions here.
Yeah. Well, Blake, I know you've been bounced all over the Arkansas media and doing your show. You are
I ain't been to Arkansas this much in my life, man. You know, I went duck hunting once.
You know, you have to keep us believe guys in check.
I guess, but I went duck hunting in Arkansas one time, Porter.
At Stuttgart?
Actually, yeah, I think.
That's the capital of the
There was
world.
3 things that I walked away from Arkansas. Number 1, the duck hunting is elite. Okay. If you have a redheaded woman with a cowboy belt buckle, okay, walk away from her. Okay, that's number 2. And the whiskey tastes different. She was redheaded, had a cowboy hat and a belt buckle, and I just killed, I think we had like 4 geese and like 7 teal, and we had a great day, right? Fantastic day. And then here comes a redheaded, fox from Arkansas. And I was like, yeehaw, man,
Well, brother, we appreciate you.
Hey, man, you gotta yeehaw yourself, Porter.
Yeehaw. Hey, my high school mascot's
I know Adam's yeehawed.
I don't know if I've yeehawed before. Yeehaw.
Hey, look
just
on my shoulder. I've got a helmet. My high school mascot's a hillbilly. So
so it's Mike Gundy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys. We'll see y'all soon.
Man.
Thanks, Porter. Peace.
No problem. Oh, always good having Blake Ruffino on there. Yeah, I'm kind of not on the same as David here as Arkansas. I think we scored a little bit more than 10 points. But, Adam, what really gets me worried is the fact we jumped on BYU and then just went stagnant.
Mm-hmm.
Can't do that against LSU.
Oh, no, not one bit.
Yeah. I'm looking 41-21. I mean, that's where I'm leaning.
See, and I'm in that 44-17 to 21 range. I think we put up a few but it's going to be a tough day, especially. I mean, I know that Mississippi State did not look good at all on either side of the ball last week, but things are clicking with LSU offensively.
And here's the deal: we're 3 games in, and we have not seen anything that has proven that. I mean, like I said, last week was a dress rehearsal.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't like we destroyed Western Carolina, destroyed Kent State, and then all of a sudden we had a flukish game against BYU.
Yeah,
we've seen things 3 games in a row, and of course we got quick to jump on LSU when Florida State beat them.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we did. We did this. We did the same thing with Florida
chip game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in Florida, exactly. That's the only, honestly, to goodness, that's the only hope I have to Arkansas winning this game, is because this year has been so crazy as it is. There's a possibility that it could happen. I'm not saying there's no chance in hell that Arkansas wins this game, because at the end of the day, it's still an Arkansas LSU game.
It is. Crazier things have happened in this game, but we just, like we said, we've got to see more. The routineness of Enos's offense, something's got to give one way or another. I do totally agree with Blake that, let Satania go.
Yeah.
Whether it's streaking down the field, end around, get him more involved in the offense.
Yeah. Well, and also you look at Satania and you look at Tesla, and this is why I bring those 2 up. You've seen the protection. You've got to get the ball out quick.
Yep. Get
it to your guys who can at least some way make something out of it when you get the ball in their hands.
Mm-hmm.
If you slant, if you got a guy like Perkins and he's going to be coming at you, or if you're going to be trying to bring with the 4, try to make it to where they've got to respect your pass game enough to where they're not coming after you because you're getting the ball out so quick.
Yep.
Exactly like they did when I keep up bringing the play up where they were under center and he threw the out pass. I mean, something along the lines of that, to where you're throwing them off to where they have to second guess what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully there is a little sprinkle of more. We see more out of the playbook. I mean, I don't think that should have happened. I think they should open up everything last week. It's like, are you really willing? And this is the question I'm asking about, just solely specifically on the playbook issue. Are you really willing to take a loss against BYU opposed to opening up your playbook so LSU don't see, or a team don't see, what you're doing?
And that was like my almost immediate thoughts, even in the struggle with Kent State, is, okay, you've got to open up something to get something to work. So what is it, or is it even there? Has some of this been a little smoke screen to, this is how the offense is going to be? So I had said at that point, you can't make up any excuses anymore for it. It's either this is the offense, or, what else is there? Is this how the season's going to go?
Yeah. And man, it's just, I hope that hopefully on that what Blake brought up about the whole Twitter thing is, hopefully it did get hacked and they're releasing a statement and it was a misunderstanding, because I'm telling you, you don't need any more fuel to this fire that is the Arkansas program right now.
Yeah.
And especially when you're trying to focus on getting an SEC win, pulling an upset, and taking this thing back because of this brutal 4-game stretch, and even coming back to play Mississippi State. If you're so banged up, that might not even be a win itself. That's not the time to be doing it, and it just takes more distraction away from the task at hand.
Mm-hmm.
And we're opening the show talking about it. We're talking about it now, and we know everybody else is too. And just what Blake said from how he was acting at the the conference call and the presser,
mm-hmm.
Man, it's not sounding good. And then of course with everything else with this program, it's just, again, like I said, I hope we're wrong. I hope Arkansas somehow just, again, drops the nuts and wins this game. But everything, to me, defensive pressure and having guy that front 4 and then Perkins, I see them struggling. But if they muster up 21 points, I mean, I see this as just how easy they did move the ball up and down the field against Mississippi State. I don't know how it goes anything other than that, in my opinion.
It's definitely a pivotal game either way for Arkansas. It's either, the wheels are going to fall off, or this is the game that gets their head back right and gets them moving for this, the next stretch. And even outside of this 4 or 5 game gauntlet stretch, I mean, just the rest of the season in general, this game could make or break their mindset for weeks to come.
Mm-hmm. Because you're like I said, you're in a hole. I mean, you're now on top of you lost BYU, so you do get manhandled by LSU. Then you've got to turn around and go to Jerry World to play A&M.
Mm-hmm.
Then after that, you've got Ole Miss and Alabama. It's just the thing that even if Alabama is down, are you lower than them from a mental standpoint and the health wise? Because you're playing LSU, you're playing A&M, 2 teams that want to beat you just as bad as you want to beat them. So there's a lot of factors that go in this game, and this is a very important game. And hopefully the team and everybody can just snap out of it and turn this thing around, because we don't want another season where you have so much hope coming into the season, because I'm telling you, you keep on. It's like the pilot light's going to eventually go out where there's nothing to look forward to going into the season. And I know the guy loves Arkansas. I know he loves this state and loves this program, but if that pilot light goes out, I mean, that's done-do,
Oh, yeah. And, I mean, from the fan standpoint, this is a game that it's either going to continue and get worse for the things that have been said, happen, whatever, on social media, or this is the turnaround. So, from the fan standpoint, it's going to, get better. It's going to go a lot more south.
Yeah. Well, hopefully on Sunday when we come back, we will be talking about a better performance. And again, we don't have to win the game, but I want to see progression. I want to see a better turnout, and they play their hearts out and just come up short. I'll be happy with that. I'd be even more ecstatic for a win.
Definitely.
That will do it for this episode of the Hawk Talk podcast. Again, you heard on Sunday we'll come back, and then on Monday we will be talking to former head coach Houston Nutt and get his thoughts on the Hogs Plus documentary Resurgence of the 1998 program, and just everything he's been up to since his coaching days at Arkansas. But for Adam Hall, I'm Porter Hayes, and we will catch you on Sunday.
Peace. Have a good night.